welcome back to the Wedding Buzz. I have a really fun guest on here today. She is the owner of Liquid Sunshine Tanning, which is a luxury mobile spray tan service. She'll come to your home, office, hotel, or wherever you are in need of a spray tan. She is a 2-time master certified spray tan artist and started working in the spray tanning business since she was just 16 years old. Within the past 2 years, she just came back to the industry and started Liquid Sunshine Tanning. So hi, welcome.
Hi.
I'm so glad
Thank
that
you for having me.
Of course, I'm so glad that you're here. And I haven't had anyone talk about spray tans. I've had like hair and makeup. I've had DJs, florists, whatever. But this is like kind of, I don't think people necessarily think about spray tans right off the bat when you think about like wedding vendors, but a lot of brides do want a spray tan.
Yes.
And it's a huge, I think a bad spray tan can be very bad and a good spray tan can be very good. So I was like, let's talk about this because so many brides want that gorgeous glow for their wedding.
It's definitely gaining popularity. I think over the span of maybe the past few years, it's really nice because it allows the bride, along with the rest of the bridal party,
You're good.
along with the bridal party to, now I hear myself.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, talk into
It allows the bride and the entire bridal party to be on basically have the same glow, you know, where you don't have a very pale person, you don't have a very dark person, you don't have the orange person, you have somebody and everyone with the exact same skin tone in a sense, and it's complementing. It's complementing the makeup, it's complementing the dress. It kind of just all brings it together, just like your hair and makeup does.
So you used to work in the spray tan business and now you started your own company. So tell me a little bit about that.
So I started back in 1996. This is a long time ago I've been in this. So this is actually before spray tanning had gained popularity. This is when like UV beds. So I managed a tanning salon. My senior year of high school. And then as soon as I got into college, that's when spray tanning started to come about. So I managed a tanning salon while I was still in high school and then managed it full time once I graduated. And that's where I picked up spray tanning and that's where it really became popular, but not to the degree that it is now. It was the booth back then. Airbrush spray tanning really didn't come about probably until about 99, 2000. And it was very sketchy and shoddy at best back then.
Yeah.
It's nowhere compared to what it is today. So I spent about almost 5 or 6 years in the industry then. And then I left once I graduated college, went into wealth management. Dealt with a lot of high net worth individuals. So I learned concierge. I learned white glove treatment. And once I retired out of the business, because I ended up having 2 small children, I retired out of the business in 2021 and was just going to be a stay-at-home mom. But I had all this time on my hands. And I thought, oh, why not? And a friend of mine said, well, why not? So hence, I decided to do it. I did it part-time, you know. I was taking care of my mom at the same time. And then it just kind of manifested and grew. So I ended up getting more education based on what the wants and needs are of the spray tanning business are as of today. So in 2022, Liquid Sunshine Tanning was born, and I ended up making it a full-time gig.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it is a mobile business. And you'll do spray tans for anyone. I saw on your website that you do have a couple different packages and options. So obviously the focus of this podcast is brides, but I do want to talk about like your entire business. So tell me about that. Like, tell me about like, what are the different packages or options and what would you recommend for brides?
Well, first and foremost, as far as options are concerned, there are 2 different types of spray tans, basic level.
Yeah.
We have your classic solution, which must be kept on the skin for at least 8 hours. And then we have the rapid solution, which is convenience. Based on your skin tone, based on your coloring, and based on your tanning goals, it will allow us to rinse in a shorter amount of time, usually between 2 and 4 hours. So that's very popular with the brides as well. We also do have the contouring option, which allows you to contour the body, contour the face, which is very nice. And then a step further that we also do for brides is we have a clear solution. So basically it's a spray tan without any of the bronzers. So a lot of brides on their wedding day or for their wedding day and any bridal events leading up to their wedding day will kind of choose this option only because it allows for risk-free. There's no bronzers being left on the skin. You don't have to worry about if you're sweating in your dress. You're not having any transfer of that spray tan onto the garment or to the dress
So
itself.
it's a clear solution?
So it's clear, goes on the skin clear, and a spray tan actually takes 24 hours for it to fully develop. So it will fully develop into a beautiful tan based on, again, your tanning goals, your skin tone. That will determine how long we're going to keep that on the body. But once that solution is rinsed off, the active ingredients, which is DHA, that attaches to your skin cell, that's what's going to help and process and develop and create your tan.
Gotcha.
So, which is very nice. So again, it's bronzer free. When you have a regular spray tan, whether it be the classic solution or a rapid, chances are it's going to have a bronzer on it. So you're going to look immediately stepping out of my booth like you have a spray tan. That's why a lot of people come off very dark. With the with the clear solution, you're stepping out of my booth essentially how you stepped in it.
Yeah, you look the same.
Exactly.
But it develops with time.
Yes. They both develop with time. However, the only difference is that bronzer, that's just the topical, which really the only reason why it's in there is for us spray tan artists to be able to follow our guide. So those are not necessary. There's a lot of formulas that have different types of bronzers in it, more golden, more red, and they will complement skin tones for as long as the solution is on the spray tan, on the body. So
Gotcha.
there's a lot to delve into here.
Yeah,
But
no,
we're
that's
just
really
hitting the
interesting.
surface here.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. Can they do the contouring with the one that's clear?
That's the only trick. No, you do have to go with a bronzer only because you're dealing with different percentage levels of the DHA. So a lot of times with the contouring, we have to go a little bit of a darker percentage than your clear will. They don't often make clear in too many percentages. I know I'm getting a little...
No, it's interesting. It is really interesting.
It absolutely is. But normally with that contour, you're going to step out of the box and you're going to have that bronzer. But that's such a small, insignificant amount that you can wash that right off. And you don't have to worry about any transfer on that wedding date to that wedding dress.
Interesting. Okay, so something else that you do is parties, which, and you also mentioned before, like the entire bridal party, you know, like the spray tan kind of makes everybody look cohesive. So tell me about that.
So it's really nice. So it's a little bit of both. So let's step back for a moment and just talk about the spray tanning parties. So, which is nice for brides. And in fact, I have one coming up this weekend. You have a bride and you have, let's say, 3 or 4 girls. They just want to get together. They want to just have a girls' night in and they want to prepare for the wedding. Yeah. So a lot of times the bride will host it or the maid of honor will host it at her house. And it will allow me to not only tan the bride, but to tan the girls. But we make it like a fun event. Like I bring a bottle of champagne. A lot of times we'll order some charcuterie or someone will have made that. And we really just go through everyone and tan them. And it becomes just like you're having a fun day with your friends.
Like a girls' night. Yeah.
And everybody's getting tan and they're looking beautiful. And it's really nice. So that happens to be one of our packages that we have, or one of our bridal packages is the bride ultimately tans for free if you have a group of 4 or more. And again, it allows me to look at your dress. It allows me to look at your bridesmaid dresses and really get into those spots that I think are going to pop. You know, if you have a low cut dress, I can give you a little bit of a contour here. So it gives the illusion of maybe an uplift or bigger breasts, something to that effect. Yeah. If there's somebody that needs to a little bit more slender, we can slender that in based on whatever that dress looks like. So really, we have magic hands. We can make things happen. It's
quite magical.
So, but getting back to the packages, I have a variety of different bridal packages on our website. The very basic one happens to be just a package of 2, which is your trial tan, which we most definitely recommend for any and all brides. And then the other tan would be for the wedding tan, of course, for your wedding day. A lot of times we recommend the trial tan. It be maybe a few weeks out, even a few months out, depending on whether you're going to obtain a higher package. So for my next step package would be the Premier, and that consists of 4 tans. That's your trial tan. your wedding tan, and then ultimately whatever else that you want to use that for. It could be your bridal shower. It could be your bachelorette party. It could even be boudoir photos. Girls use them for a number of different things. But it's nice because they have the
contouring
package.
is probably awesome for that.
It is. It is. That's one of my most booked tans is the contour tan. It's so fabulous. But so it's really nice because it allows me and you to sit together. We have a consultation about your dress, about your needs and your wants, on what you would like to look like that day. We'll talk about how your hair is going to be, and we just kind of build the foundation from there.
Yeah.
You show me a picture of your dress, and again, we can highlight certain areas or de-highlight, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know the word for that right now. Those areas too.
No,
So-
but that's awesome. And I definitely like that you recommend doing the trial, and so that there's no surprises like the week of the wedding. And I didn't really think about like having all of the bridesmaids do it and everybody, but that's an awesome thing. And it's so fun to do.
It really is.
Like a couple nights. But how many days before the wedding would you suggest that
So
they do
normally
it?
the general rule of thumb is anywhere between 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
So that allows for us to rinse, your initial rinse. It allows for the tan to fully develop at 24 hours. And then it allows for another shower or 2. And it really just allows your tan to settle in. And that's when your tan is like the most perfect, is on day 2 or day 3.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point, because you wouldn't want like to do it too soon towards the wedding.
Correct.
Or it's not going to be fully developed or.
Correct. Yes. We always like to give each other like a buffer.
So how should people prepare for their tan?
That's a loaded question. I actually
Yeah.
do have prep instructions. Ultimately, rule of thumb is you want your tan to be the very last beauty treatment that you book.
Okay.
So your hair, your nails, your lashes,
Waxing.
waxing, thank you, massages, anything like that, that needs to be done prior. Because once you have that spray tan application on you, and I'm not meaning the actual solution on you, but once we have applied that tan and you've done your rinse and you've done your first shower, you don't ultimately want to do anything that's going to strip that. So if you were to do waxing, you're going to essentially strip that first layer off. It's not going to be pretty. Same with doing hot pedicures, waxing, anything that's going to jeopardize.
What's shaving?
Shaving, I generally say to wait about 2 to 3 days after your spray tan. And believe it or not, you use a razor that doesn't have a moisture strip, because that moisture strip can either streak that tan or it's going to create, the word I'm looking for, it escapes me, but you ultimately want to use a one that does not have a very thick moisture strip, which
Yeah.
a lot of them do nowadays. Really, it's just those disposables that are not good. But if you just, shave with that, you're okay.
Yeah.
That's not going to remove that spray tan. But going back to the tanning prep, so that's going to be general rule of thumb, is just to make sure that that is your very last beauty treatment. And also, we want to make sure that your skin is free of any lotions, any makeup, any deodorant, anything like that. Typically, we ask our girls and our brides to not shower within 4 hours, only because, again, you want to have that skin clean. You want to have a fresh slate once you step in either to my booth or to my tent. And then, of course, that comes on the flip side as far as how do you maintain, how do you care for your tan? That's just as big as preparing for your tan,
Yeah.
if not more. Because ultimately, once again, that solution is on your skin and that DHA has attached to your skin cells, I would say it's going to last anywhere between 7 to 12 days, depending on how well you take care of it. So when I say how well you take care of it is try not to exfoliate in the shower. That is huge. And that was always the worst thing that I could learn to stop doing, because as soon as you get in the shower, whether it's just from a full day of work or the gym, you want to reach for that loofah. You want to reach for the washcloth, and you just want to scrub because you feel like you're just going to get so much cleaner. You have to stop that, believe it or not, because that really, at the end of the day, doesn't do much other than exfoliate. So you're essentially going to be exfoliating your tan. We don't want to see that happen.
Yeah.
So you have to really get in the habit of just using your hands.
I don't even think it's good for your skin to do that like that often.
Exactly.
Like maybe, when you're ready for your next tan, like
That's correct.
do it before that.
And then you have to use an actual exfoliating mitt, which a lot of these girls don't know. They think, okay, just those shower mitts that you get at Target or Publix or Bath and Body Works, you can use that and that'll exfoliate the tan off. No, you have to really get in there with like a hard exfoliating mitt. And it's work. It's a bit of work involved, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. Hey, what do they say? Like, beauty is pain?
I was just about to say that, Sydney. Beauty is pain.
Beauty is pain. This doesn't sound painful. It's just,
just little things.
I feel like
it
makes you like take care of your skin better.
It really does. It makes you more aware, which is really good. Because normally you just get in the shower and you're like, okay, I've shampooed, I've done my thing, I'm out. And it's like, no, you really need to pay attention, So
yeah, that is a good point. So how about like a lot of brides go on a honeymoon I know we didn't like talk about this before, but it just came to mind. Like a lot of brides go on their honeymoon. It ties into like taking care of it. Can you go like swimming with your spray tan?
Swimming. Yes.
Sunscreen.
We encourage you to use sunscreen because this spray tanning solution does not include any SPF products. So it's very key, it's very important. Moisturizing, that's another key to preserving the life of your tan. Moisturize, and hydrate. But ultimately, getting back to your question, yes, it can last. And there's a number of different products that are spray tan safe that we actually recommend if you are going to be going out of the country, if you're going to be going traveling, and you just need to kind of pop that color back in.
Yeah.
So there's tan extenders that we often retail, which are fabulous. And it's just like a lotion with a little bit of the DHA, a little bit of the tanning solution in there. So you can apply that probably every maybe 2 to 3 days. Tanning water is also good, and that's primarily used on the face because, as you know, women, we wear makeup.
Yeah.
We have to wash our face. So your face is being washed. Products are being used more so than on your body.
Yeah.
So you're going to tend to remove that tan faster on your face than you would the rest of your body.
Gotcha.
So they have tanning water, which essentially is clear spray tanning solution and just like a little bit of toner. Just like a mist, and it gradually tans, and over 4 hours, you just need to wipe that off, and you'll see that color that was removed from your face kind of like
come back
and match the rest of your skin tone. And there was something else that I was going to touch on, and I cannot think of it at the moment.
Swimming, sunscreen, moisturizer.
Yes, so getting back to swimming and preserving your tan, ultimately it's very wise that if you were to go to the beach or go into a hot tub, wash yourself off afterwards. Try not to submerge yourself in a sauna or a hot tub for very long because, as you know, when you sweat, you're exfoliating. Sweat is coming out your pores, and essentially you're pushing that spray tan out. So you don't want to do that. So you just have to be mindful. Again, that's where the tanning extender is going to come into play. And if you happen to have a day at the beach or a day in the sauna or the day in the hot tub, that you'll be able to kind of rejuvenate that tan once you go back to the hotel.
Gotcha.
After your shower.
How about getting like a massage? I guess is that fine?
That is
it's like
fine.
Oils.
That is fine. I wouldn't do it right after your spray tan.
Yeah.
7
I'm just
to
thinking
10
a lot of brides
days.
like, they go on a honeymoon and they'll do these things of like be in the sun, go in a hot tub, go in a pool, go get a massage. And like, if I was doing this right before my wedding, I would be thinking like, shoot, am I going to be all patchy on my honeymoon?
You definitely will be patchy.
Yeah.
What's the nice thing about the products of today, they've come a long way where when you are essentially exfoliating them or they are lessening because you're showering and it's lightening up, it doesn't become patchy.
Yeah, it just kind of fades.
It kind of fades, and it has a very nice gradual fade. Again, but a part of the process with a spray tan is 50% of what I can do. So my education, my artistry on you, and then 50% is how well you either prepare for your tan and take care of your tan. Fortunately, that's the only beauty treatment that has the 50-50 split. But
yeah.
So
no, I mean, it's a good point. So it's like, it's good that you educate people beforehand and that they take care of it, and hopefully it'll last. But it is like, it's a good point that you can only do so much. They have to take care of it as well. So what should people expect in their appointments? Because I mean, I've never had a spray tan. I myself would be like, oh, what
I've
are you
been trying to get you, girl.
I know. Our schedules have been like
I understand.
crazy. I appreciate it.
We will most definitely do it one day. For sure. So not only is it a step up from the booth because it's an airbrush spray tan. So essentially when I'm mobile, I bring all of my gear, all of my supplies, including my tent to you. I set up and it's mess free. It's such a nice area. All I need is like a 4x6 space, get you in my tent, and I make it a luxury service from start to finish. I make sure that we have dressed your nails so we don't have any solution. We cover that with a barrier cream. Your toenails, I'm going to moisturize any dry areas that you have. I want to make sure that we put a hairnet to cover your hair. And everything in between is just me focusing on you as a canvas and giving you the most flawless application that I possibly can. And then, of course, at the end, I make sure that you have luxurious drying powder, which is really nice because it helps with the sticky factor. Mm-hmm. It helps with, especially in this humidity in Florida, you kind of step out of the tent and you're a little sticky. So we have a beautiful drying powder, and I just dust you with that at the very end, clean you up. And again, a lot of these spray tan solutions, they have a bronzer. So it's immediate gratification once you step out of the booth.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
That beautiful tan. What should people wear?
That's all based on your comfort level. Mm-hmm. I have girls that are very modest, or they like tan lines, so they wish to wear a bikini or bikini bottoms or a thong. I have other girls that are on the other side of the spectrum, and they just, take everything off and go naked, which honestly, I tend to fall into that category only because depending on what you wear, a lot of people don't like tan lines, me especially, so I would discourage you in a sense from wearing anything that may have straps. I do provide disposable garments. So we have a disposable bandeau and we have a disposable thong for the girls that do just want to keep a little, covered. And again, it's all based on your comfortability level.
Yeah, I think that's probably good for people to hear, if like you can, be more covered if you're uncomfortable, or if you don't want those tan lines, like that you're okay with.
Yes.
Take it off. Who
well,
cares?
It's funny because there's been girls that have stepped into my tent the very first time and they just want to cover up and they're very shy and they're very modest. And by the second and third tan, they're in that tent.
They're like, hey.
Stripped down before I can even get the solution in the bottle.
They're like, hey, you're back. Let's go.
Yep.
That's funny.
And it's the therapy session. It's the girl catch up time. It's really fun. We have a great time when we're in
I feel like that the other time, like for a bride, that this kind of vulnerable state is like wedding dress shopping, because the person who assists them ends up basically seeing them naked. And I feel like every single bride, like the first two dresses that they're putting on, it's like they have the assistant step out and then they try to get it halfway on. I did this myself. And by like the fourth dress, it's just like, okay,
You do it.
You do it. I'm going to stand here. Like, just you do it.
Yeah. All modesty goes out the window. Of course. Absolutely. 100%.
That's so
And
funny.
it's crazy because some people are like, well, I don't want you to look at this, and I don't look at you. I look at your body as a canvas. I look at, okay, this is how I can make this girl stand out, and I'm looking at you and I'm sizing you up in that fashion.
Yeah.
As you're stepping into my tent, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to have a fun time here, and I have borderline OCD. So I will get into every little crevice and I will make sure that that's tanned. And, at the end, before I put that luxury, powder on you, is I really get in there with powders with, my buffer brushes and my powder brushes and everything. And we just blend everything out because there's nothing more than a dead giveaway. If you see in pictures, people's ankles. That is, as soon as I see a picture of a bride, of anything, I go right to the ankles. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we have to fix that, But that's just me. That's how I tend to look at things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we make sure everything is fluid, everything is blended in, and you just step out of that tent looking immaculate.
I have tried it's been years. In college, I went through let me try to do this myself a couple times. And what you're explaining sounds much better than me trying to do this to myself. I was definitely
It's tricky. It's tricky. And it's funny because even a lot of the girls that I do tan as maintenance sometimes, they'll get something off the internet or at Target or Ulta, and I'll get a text message from them and it's like, I'm sorry, I cheated on you. And it's like, it's okay, it's all right, And where that also comes into play, believe it or not, a lot of these influencers, I have the pleasure, the honor, and the opportunity to spray a few influencers. And, there's products that, are companies that are asked of them to, hey, just try this product out. And if you can plug it, great. And I've seen that a time or two. And again, I'll get that text message, and it's like, girl, I'm like, I know you need to make bank, but how about we just, pretend that you do it, plug the product and then come to me.
Yeah.
And I say that as a joke, of course.
No, I know. I did that. I went, when I was in college, I was like, I'm going to find a hair lady near my college. And like, they butchered my hair and I had to go crawling back to my original one. I was like, can you fix me, please?
Yes. Well, that stands true for
this.
I
mean, it sounds like it's like an art. Like it sounds like you really have mastered your craft and there's a science to it. It's not just like, oh, let me take a bottle of spray paint and just spray this. You said you treat their body like a canvas.
Yes. And every tan I do is customized. Yeah. So it's all depending on your skin tone. It's depending on how dark you would like to be and ultimately what's going to make that tan pop. Mm-hmm. So no orange, no brassiness.
Well, I was about to say the dreaded question. Will I be orange?
No, absolutely not. I mean, unless, and this is not stepping into my booth, unless you're using a product, again, like you can obtain from Amazon or Ulta, or stepping into a booth, that could very well happen, and you're not choosing the right solution that's going to, make it stand out on compliment you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It could happen. It could absolutely happen. Another time it could possibly happen is if I give you a rinse time. And I said, Sydney, I think between 2 and 2.5 hours would be an opportune rinse time for you. But if you decide and you take it into your own hands that, well, this is getting darker and I like this, so I'm just going to keep it on for 4 or 5. If your skin can't tolerate having the solution on for that long, you can run the risk of becoming brassy. You can run the risk of becoming orange. And that's when I have to throw up my hands and say, okay, what'd you do? Because I know that wasn't happening on my watch.
Can you fix it?
You really can't unless you exfoliate it off. That's why it's so crucial to listen to your artist. It's almost the equivalent of, okay, you went to your hair girl and you wanted highlights. And she wanted to rinse you out in 30 minutes. And you're like, no, I want to stay here for another hour. I think it'll get lighter. And then all of a sudden she pulls the foils off and you have no hair left.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent. Just listen to us.
Just listen. Yeah.
And I always encourage my brides and my girls that, okay, if we have the trial tan, this is where we're going to start. This is our baseline. So over the course of the next 2 days, 3 days, a week, I need you to document this tan. I need you to tell me the days that you loved your tan and you felt the most confident, the most sexy, the most ever. And I need you to say, hey, this is what I need. And send me a picture of it. Because at least I know in my mind, okay, the next time we tan, I'm either going to make that lighter for you or I'm going to make that darker. And we can adjust as we go.
No, that's a really good point. And I think it goes to doing the trial of so that you do have time to adjust. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it really makes the bride fall in love with themselves a little bit, and really kind of amp them up. Especially when you get the bridal trial for your hair and your makeup, you have a sense of what you're going to look like. You're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't wait. So the spray tan also does that. It complements.
Yeah. So I ask everybody, do you have any wedding horror stories? Which I know you're not there typically on the wedding day, but or tanning horror stories?
I think I shared this with you. Yes. In fact, my bride, she's getting married this weekend. And the very first time that I tanned her, everything was great. She looked amazing. I left. I went to another appointment. And within an hour, I get a text message from her. And she's like, Nikki, what do I do? I think I messed up. And I was like, well, what happened? Send me a picture. Well, she's like, I sneezed. And she sneezed or she laughed really hard, and she ended up peeing down her leg. Gosh. Like, Kelly, what are you doing to me? You know, she's like, I'm so sorry. Well, thankfully, it was down the leg. So, but all I mentioned to her was like, listen, I could either come back, you know, you're an hour away, but I can either come back and we can blend it, or you can just take a makeup sponge, blend it yourself. Thankfully, it all worked out, but that could be bad. And let that be the worst thing. Really, let it be the worst thing ever.
Funny. Like, who would think of that? Like, oh, I left my spray tan and I got caught in the rain or something, but like I sneezed or laughed whatever too hard.
Oh my goodness.
So she just like blended it back
She
out
blended
and it was
in.
okay.
Yes, she was able to. I instructed her just to get a little bit of like a concealer, just so you have not a dark concealer, just like some sort of makeup concealer, just so you're able to get that sponge wet.
Yeah.
And then you just really blot, 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 blot. And you almost want to have like nothing on it, just so your sponge can be wet, and it allows you to blend it. But it could be tricky, and believe it or not, a lot of people. I'm gonna say this very candidly, in a sense, because I know we're on a bridal or a wedding podcast, but there's a lot of people that pee in the shower, and it's very common. And I've had girls actually say, you know, yeah, I'm like, you can't do that because you can run the risk of really ruining your tan. You know, it's not water.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I know we're getting into it now. It is. Will pee
acidic.
affect
Absolutely,
it different than water?
1,000%. I have seen pictures of it. It's not pretty. It's not my work. I have seen it occur. So really, I do mention to girls, because a lot of girls, you know, they like to go in the bathroom and they like to hover, and it's like, please do me a favor. This is important. If you're going to be in a bathing suit, if you're walking down a runway, or you're going to be in a bikini where I know that we need to make this tan like flat, fabulous, and flawless, just be mindful about those certain things.
That is so
But
funny.
it's crazy that I have to mention it, but it happens more often than not. I belong to a couple of Facebook groups and, you know, education groups, and it comes up a time or two.
That is so
embarrassing
funny
to say, but
no, hey, we're very open on this podcast, but that's it's honestly, I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't think about that.
you don't.
And then it
really
ruins
don't.
it. And that's really funny to think about. Because they probably think like, oh, I can wash it off. Like, we're good. But
It may or may not happen, and we don't want to take that risk.
interesting. Okay, well, what is one piece of advice that you want to give our listeners?
Oh, wow, that's a piece of advice.
It could be tanning, wedding,
What I would
life.
say is, when you're looking for an artist, whether it's a spray tanning artist, whether it's any beauty treatment artist, look into their work, you know, research their reviews, look at their word of mouth, anything that you're able to do, and ask a lot of questions, because communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, especially with brides, communication is so essential, so you are both on the same page. Same with the bridal party. And I think also what is really key in today's world with a lot of social media is this is not going to be for your brides per se, but it's going to be more for like your vendors. Collabs are key. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're so crucial for visibility. And I think just it's free advertising in a sense, you know, if you're able to, you know, collab with different artists, whether it be hair, makeup, photography, you know, florist. We've done quite a number of styled shoots, and we've tanned the models, and it's just been amazing as far as visibility is concerned.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's twofold for you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. One thing I want to mention is I know we've talked about brides, but you do more than obviously just brides, but you'll do men too, right? Like
Yes.
I know something popular is like bodybuilding competitions.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if you want to, I know this is the wedding buzz, but I want to highlight your whole business. So if you want to touch on.
Absolutely. Well, we do grooms. A lot of the grooms do not wish to be mentioned. It's, no, I sat in the sun, you know. Men, don't sleep on the spray tans, because once you had them, I feel like you always want them. So, but yes, I tan quite a bit of CrossFitters for CrossFit competitions.
Okay.
We can contour those abs on you, which is really nice. So that's been very popular. I have done a number of competitions, fitness competitions. The tanning is a little bit more elaborate, a little bit more in depth when it becomes, pertaining to those competitions. But men are up and coming. So I just don't feature a lot of them because they just don't want to be named.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's with like getting a facial. Like I'll out my poor dad, but like a couple years ago, he was struggling with like, he turned 50 and then randomly got this like rosacea on his face. And my mom was like, go get a facial. And he's like, what? And she's like, just go. I'll never tell anyone. But now I told everybody.
And he probably loves it, right?
He went. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it in a long time, but I know that he went like a few times and like got his skin treated. And I was like, it's not. You don't need to be ashamed of it. Like,
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Like, get it.
And it's amazing. And a spray tan helps you feel more confident, more youthful. Just you feel healthier in a sense too.
Yeah.
People get them for a variety of reasons, but
yeah. No, but that's awesome. And, your wedding day is definitely the day that you need to feel like absolutely beautiful.
1,000%.
So that's awesome.
And there's nothing more satisfying than being a part of somebody's happily ever after. And I'm sure you can understand that, just being along for someone's journey. It's just
especially making them like feel beautiful and pretty. It's so important.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And then seeing them start their families and tanning baby bumps. I mean, it's just, I'm along for the ride.
That's so funny. Okay, well, this was awesome. I'm so glad that you were here. Where can people find you?
So you can find me at my website, www.liquidsunshinetanningfl.com. I'm also on Facebook, Liquid Sunshine Tanning, and Instagram, Liquid Sunshine Tanning.
Gotcha. Well, if you are where do you go? Just South Florida?
Pretty much Palm Beach County, but I will travel to Martin County and to also Broward County. Okay.
Well, if you are in South Florida, if you're a bride, even if you're not a bride, if you just want to get that glowing tan, contact her, liquidsunshinetanningfl.com. Thank you for being here.
Awesome.
This was
Thank
so
you,
fun.
Cindy. It was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My first one in the books. Yay!
Yay! First podcast.